Weekly News. Weekly News.
Education, politics,
Economics, culture. Weekly News, a roundup of national news of the week on RENOUVEAU TV every Saturday.
Weekly News, the news to English speakers.
You are on RENOUVEAU TV, RENOUVEAU FM. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Welcome on Weekly News. I'm Usman Sarara, the presentation. Once more, welcome on RENOUVEAU TV, RENOUVEAU FM. The government action plan of the Malian Prime Minister Choguel Koukala Maïga was approved on Monday by the members of the National Transition Council. To discuss more about this, is this action realistic? To answer this question, I'm with four guests. Yes, four guests. The first one is Mr. Adama Javate, geopolitician. Mr. Javate, good morning. Thank you. Next to him, Mr. Alou Boire, he's teacher of English. Mr. Boire, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Sagara.
Our first guest, Mr. Drissa Sidibe, he also teacher. Mr. Sidibe, good morning.
How are you?
The last one, air traffic controller, Mr. Togola. Morning, Togola.
Good morning to you, Sagara. Thanks for having me.
Thanks all of you for coming here to discuss on this great topic. First of all, Mr. Javate, can you tell us what drew your attention this week the most?
The week, I think that, thank you very much for the invitation and hello to our followers. Of course, the main event of the week was the presentation of this governmental program, the long-awaited program that I think that many people, even those who are opponent to the Prime Minister, they got more satisfaction than they expect. Despite in politics, we very often do not recognize the merit of the other because we think that that will add to his popularity or whatever.
Okay.
I think that if I had to appreciate the intervention of the Prime Minister, the Parliament, I think that the mark will be excellent.
Okay. Now, next to Mr. Boire, you the same question.
Okay, really, thank you, Mr. Sagara. And good, I say hello to all the viewers of RENOUVEAU TV. Okay, really about the point which draw my attention during this week as a teacher is certainly related to education.
Always.
The Article 39 of teachers, because with the debate about this article, so the school years is there is a phrase on the school year, the end of the school year. People used to say everything is well that ends well, and the school year with on the Article 39 may not end well because the exams are about to be organized with on teachers whose track will begin next week. So this draw my attention the most.
From one teacher to another, Mr. Sidibe. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Sagara. And I say hello to my co-debaters.
Thank you.
You see, I myself, I was attentive as Mr. Boire to the teachers' strike. Sincerely, I'm afraid. But I wish, anyway, the academic year ended well. I just make a wish.
Okay. Yeah, Mr. Togola.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Sagara, before answering this question, I would like to thank the other co-debaters for their participation, and to all the viewers of RENOUVEAU TV for their loyalty to this Pan-African channel, I used to say. The events that have drawn my attention the most this week is a very pathetic one. The accident, the tragic accident that occurred on the road of Segu. many people lost their lives on the occasion of that fatal accident, and it's not the first one. And almost every year, all the time on that same axis, accidents of like this, take place. And I think that there should be a reason for it. And I would like to call on the authorities to investigate thoroughly on the causes and to try and find a definitive solution to it, because enough is enough. It really moved me a lot. May the victims rest in eternal peace.
Okay, thank you. So, as you know, as given the richness of the news race, so we cannot go directly to the topic, but let's take just 5 minutes to give your point of view about accident and teachers' strike. So, as you know, teachers of public school, they say they're not going to follow the examination, but those are private are ready to follow. So, as teacher, do you think that those of private school can do all this without those of public school?
Okay, you, Mr. Sagara, you have to understand any other people except the teachers. I mean, the public teacher is just a way to escape the problem. But the private, the teachers in the private, we wonder who are they? Because if you have a glance on our private school, you will see that the majority of the teachers at that level also are from the public one.
That's just in big cities as Bamako, but
really,
when you know far in the village, there is no public teachers. They're all
okay. So
community teachers.
I just want to tell you that whatever we wish, only that there is an agreement between the government and the teachers. If not, I can't see any other option to avoid the teachers so that to organize a good exam in Mali here.
Okay, Mr. Sidwe.
For me, it's not the first time, In 2008, this same situation occurred. And we, at that time, I was teaching at Sheikh Anta Diop. We, private teachers, we could, grade the topics, and we proctored too. Before grading, we proctored. And I could hear the same song, how are these teachers? We graduated all from the same schools. I wouldn't like to be opposed to the teachers of the public, but something is sure: the teachers from the private school can do whatever the government wants. Let me tell you, we are too numerous.
Mr. Tugula, do you think that this is realistic? Those are public schools stop. They say they not go to examination, but those are private. They say, okay, we go and we accompany our children, our pupils. Do you think that it is realistic?
Okay, realistic or not, it would be hard to say. Because, I don't want too much to talk about this topic, but I'm going to say something, whatever may be the case. I think that, the best is for the government to try and find a lasting solution to it.
Okay.
Because, for the public teachers, to invigilate, the examination, to correct them and stuff. I think that this is not a good solution.
Okay.
The good solution is to do with the professionals. If we want to have,
let's say that those are private
credible
are also professionals.
Solutions,
this is a great precision because, as you say, okay, yeah. Mr. Jawati, do you have something to add?
As it happened, rarely I agree with Mr. Togolo.
Yeah.
That the government truly needs to do some kind of to find some kind of moratorium on this issue so far, because this is not something. This 39 article thing has created so much trouble in our even
education.
system
Yes,
that we need to think of very, very carefully, because this was just a political gesture by Ibeka in 1980 that he himself was not expecting to be able to fulfill. And everybody reasonable knew from the very start about that. So I want to call our brothers teachers to approach this issue with this understanding and to try to a little bit lessen the requirements, so we will find a
Compromise, yeah.
To move ahead. Because whatever you do with this article, it will be endless.
Thank you. Second subtitle, as you notice, for many years we notice every time there is a dangerous accident on the highway from Bamako to Segu, and the last time you noticed that about 30 or 38 or 40 people killed and many other wounded. So, what solution to get for that?
You see, I think some 5 or 6 years I wrote in some newspapers about this issue. You see, whenever there is such a great accident, the leaders, that is the governor, the minister, they come, they visit the wounded, they go to their families. Will we continue doing that? The question should be asked. Will we be doing that all the time? Why not find a solution finally? You see? So the solution, whether the law is not applied, that is, if the government wants, he can find the solution. You have to apply law, I think. So, you see, the transport is, I think, it's at a center of a lot of activities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One minister can't even find the solution. You have the government with its ministers, you have the citizens, you have the people in charge of transport, the owners, but finally, from my point of view, finally, we don't apply law.
Okay.
You see? For example, the last accident, what is said to be the cause? The tire maybe got destroyed. How could that happen?
Okay, Mr. Togola, the question remains not being answered. Yeah, Mr. Togola.
Yeah, as Mr. Sidibe has just said, I think that, it keeps occurring because the government is not playing its role. Because the lack of, mainly such accidents, take place because of the lack of civic spirits, on the part of the drivers. But for them to respect, for instance, the speed limits and stuff, even to avoid overloads of the buses, there is a structure, a governmental structure which is there for that, to enforce laws pertaining to that. But unfortunately, with only 500 CFA or even sometimes less, they let the guys pass with overloads. I think that really we should, the government should really investigate on, these causes and try to find a lasting solution.
Okay, yeah, Mr. Jawati.
Yes, to answer to this question, I think that this is the chicken eggs question now in Mali. We don't know which to start with, but I think that it will never move in the right direction until we got some level of civil conscience.
Consciousness.
I never believed in a government, no matter Malian, American, or whatever. As Jews used to say, that every government is the reflect of its people. Let Malian understand this. Because as you said, whatever the control, there's some even that thing that following the law is like being less than a human. Just breaking the laws, they take pleasure in breaking the law. If they want to show what friends would say, their grandeur, they should say, okay, I can do this and I won't assume any consequences. because I have money, because I'm a brother there, and so on. This is the mantle of our people. Otherwise, yes, the roads are not in a good state, but was not it be for the speeds, if they were conscious enough to understand that the amount of people they were transporting were on their responsibility. So they get to, the victim will not be that so high.
Yeah.
So there's two-side thing that we should consider. But I think that it all should start with our civic conscience.
Okay, Mr. Bore, as you notice, today we know that the highway from Bamako to Segu is one of the best road in terms of quality. So every time accident, according to you, what explain that and what can be the solution?
Really,
in a very short while.
Really, it is a pity. It is pitiful to see that such an horrible accident is a commonplace in our country, and mainly on that axe, Bamako Segu. Okay, in the past, people used to say that because there were bumpy roads, and now I think that the situation, the road is improving, even if it is not in the high quality, but there is an improvement at this level. So the question is now to try to know what is the root problem of this. I think it is the human. The citizenship really has died down in Malian side. So nobody follow the rule, the law are not respected. So the authority who are in charge to control, so this control is not done as it should. And now the citizens are not afraid because they know that they are not under any control. So there is do whatever you like.
Okay. So after 11 hours of debate at the international conference center in Bamako, 102 members of the current legislative body approved the action plan of the head of the Malian transition government, Shogel Kukala Maiga. Only 2 votes were cast against, while 9 abstentions were recorded. With the budget of more than 250 billion CFA francs, this project aims to strengthen security throughout the national territory and to implement political and institutional reform, explained Mr. Maiga. In short, is based on 4 pillars: security, politics, social, and corruption is in social. So now, is this plan realistic? Let's start with Mr. Tugula. According to you, is this government action plan realistic? Because we have only about 7 months left about.
Okay, to be truthful, I would say that it's not. It's just a smooth talking. If not all that he announced, I'm not sure that they will be able to do it in just 7. I think it means only 7 months, right?
6 or 7, yeah.
No, this is. I'm not sure that they can do it. It's not. It's far from being realistic.
Okay.
But as we know, the common denominator of politicians, is smooth talking. It was expected that he would be able to convince, the CNT, into accepting, his documents. If not, I don't believe in its possibility.
Okay, and the same question to Mr. Boake, face to face, now.
Thank you a lot. Before we talk about the possibility to implement this plan or not, we can have a glance on how this plan has been discussed in our CNT. It was a tough situation for Mr. Maiga to appear in front of the CNT, which we know that in some weeks before he was appointed as a prime minister, he was the one who treated this same CNT as illegal and illegitimate. Okay, so really he has been so brave to appear before this same structure, same organization really to defend his plan. And if we look at the results, the plan has been adopted, approved by, I think, 102 members, and only 2 votes were cast against it, and they record 9 abstention. So that means the member of the CNT, they trash in it. And why do they trash? Because the plan tackle really the priority of the moment. There is a priority. So now the question is to understand, is it possible to implement within the remaining time? So this is the question. Really, as far as I'm concerned, I think that this is not the time to ask such a question. This is the time to start working. Okay. And the time will tell us whether we have to respect the time or we have to. But the most important is to see the authority working as the Malians are expecting them to do.
Mr. Sidibe, a very rich action plan, but about 6-7 months left. Do you think that the realization of this plan is realistic, is reasonable?
The vocabulary you use, realistic, referring to what?
Referring
the time? In part?
Yeah, in part of time, we have 6-7 months, but we have a very great action plan.
Okay. I think, first, my opinion about it, it's the plan sincerely takes into account all the priorities, all the issues in Mali today. This is why anybody, any Malian does agree with the Prime Minister today. And now the question, is it realistic or not? I tell you again, in referring to what? You see, first, the first part, that is insecurity. That is having back security. Second, institutional reforms. Third, elections. And the fourth one is social justice. That is reform, social reforms. Now, if you remember, before getting to the end of the 7th month, which should be elections, there are conditions. Security. Is it possible to get security before the end of the 7th coming month?
Security where?
All over the country.
Yeah,
in order to have elections. Is it possible?
No, the presidential election can be organized without a certain part of the country. This is no matter.
Do you think so?
Yeah, if it's the legislative, okay.
Now, in the present Mali, where could election be held? Where? So, and this is one condition. Yeah. So, I think the question or the position should be wait and see. As far as election security will be up, I think election will be held.
So,
this is my position. It is personal.
Wait and see. Who should wait and see?
Who all of the Malians.
No, we should not wait. We have to contribute. We should not wait.
I'm afraid of something again.
Okay.
We don't organize election by the end of which, again, we will be on the Place of Independence again. Okay? So, you see, Malians are expecting some great changes before elections. I myself, I have that position too. Security first. Next, the great issues, the great national issues, corruption. And that is taking into trial, taking into cut those who are supposed to have embezzled money. That's great. Okay. And be sure of that. Any politician could do that. And I think that's the opportunity for militaries and soldiers to do this.
Okay.
This is my position.
Your position, Mr.
And
Jabati.
another burning
basically.
issue that is even our colleagues' education. Yeah. You see, education. I have at my second time.
Okay, Mr. Jabati.
I let the floor to others.
I feel that Mr. Siribe is a great geopolitician on this issue today.
This morning.
He's very on the. But I want to say that let's from the start, let's agree on one thing. Because we are taking this election or this timetable, like I say, the condition to adhere to Islam is recognize that God is one and His envoy is Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But it's not the same. I want to say just this. What do you want? You want really what is stipulated in this program to be realized in the country, or just you want to please someone else out of our country? Because whatever and whoever that will come the issue of whatever you call election will go less than one year out again to chase him away. And his case will be worse than Ibeka has been.
Yeah.
Let's be honest and let's assume our responsibility.
Yeah.
We Malians forget about, you would tell me international community. There are no international community in Mali. They're France.
We are not afraid.
Understand? It's not possible. This is one thing. It's like you are pushing your small child to take the fire, knowing that it will injure him. This is what such called international community is doing to Mali now. So this program, by the way, the Prime Minister has been very clear on it. He said that if they do not succeed to fulfill whatever, so the next government that should come will continue. Right? This one. Second, he said that the national assise, with the national consultation, and by the issue of those national consultation, the resolution will have taken will be like a law, adopted as law, that the new government once again should be following this. So I want Malian to understand one thing, without even getting into the detail of this governmental program, because the factual thing is that it's not realistic, and it was not made up just for it to be realistic in 7 months. Even 5 years won't make some of those things. When you talk about corruption, when you talk about educational reform, so let's be serious. But there are only two things that Malians will understand, just without getting even to the program, because it won't have any sense without taking those decisions. Let us be responsible for ourselves and forget about this delay thing. And as soon as the international community in coma, because once again I repeat, it's France, not the international community. When they see that we are serious about what we're talking about, they will sit.
What we want to do.
Yeah, Mr.
I wanted to add
yes.
something as well. Okay, go ahead first.
Yeah,
Okay,
you talk about that?
Yes, I want to add something.
Someone didn't talk about this.
Go ahead.
Yeah, let's go, Mr.
Okay.
Kuru.
So really, this about this point, as we explained, we all agree that the different pillar mentioned in the action plan, everybody agrees. They tackle the current issue of the country, but we must not forget that we are in a period which is the transition, and there is a deadline. There is a time, a fixed time. For the time being, whatever we plan, we have to work within this deadline, and to see by the end of this deadline what has been done. Is that enough to organize a good election? If not, we are Malian. We can sit again to see again. But for the time being, let's agree, all of us, that the deadline is fixed and we have to work in order to reach it.
Deadline is fixed.
Okay. What I would like to add is that I'm sorry, I'm a little bit skeptical, because this is not the first time that we have uploaded speeches. When Badao took office, we all uploaded. We gave him rapturous uploads, when he said that, it would be a break from the past. We'll fight against corruption. We'll do this, we'll do that. what Shogel has just done is not, outside the box. It's not out of the box. We're used to that. Unless I see the implementation, the real implementation.
Yes, but Mr. Togola, let's precise that Shogel is very active now, not only in Bamako, but in the different regions.
Yes.
And the Mokta one was not in the same way. Today, Shogel, let's say that
we
recognize him that he's very
we can
active.
give him
He's
this
very active.
credit, at least, for instance, the promptness with which he produced this document, should be saluted. I do agree with you.
Okay.
But in the implementation, what Mr. Sidibe said, if corruption is not fought against, nothing would change. Because I was expecting, for instance, from him to say that, okay, we are going to crack down on corruption. Okay. For instance, you cannot, even if you invest billions in the army, if you do not have proper control on how the money is managed within the army, within all these structures, then nothing will work.
Okay.
And it seems that, he does not have any control over these guys.
Yeah, go on.
I wanted to add the point, those who think that really the time is not enough, and we have to think about adding another time.
Yeah.
But, there are some points mentioned in this plan, which we know even 5 years are not enough to completely
thank you.
Like security, like we're talking about embezzlement. This is not a fight of a short term.
That's what I want to talk about right now, because everybody talks about the coup d'etat has been done because there was problem in the country. Today you can say there is problem in the country. So now let's say on the what you call the beginning of the refundation, when we organize the election very quickly and nothing done, it will be the same, I think. Why people are hurrying up on the delay of the refundation? Just 6 months, 7 months. Why cannot we go beyond that so that we can start? We can have
a clear basis.
Yeah, a clear basis of, and now the coming president will continue with that. So
why not?
Do you think that this is not better?
That's the objective. That's the objective. Having a clear ground. Not only for the transition, but for the coming authorities. You see? Now, you see, those who are complaining or those who are eager of telling, you see, the transition is trying to go beyond the delay. That's not our question.
Yeah.
We know who are busy with doing that. We know them. They are politicians. They are right. They would like maybe to conquer power. They are right.
Yeah.
You see, if you have a political party, that's to conquer power. They are right. But at the right moment, we want them to wait until we have a clear ground for sure and undisputable election.
Even if it goes many years,
even
no problem.
2 years, 3 years.
Okay.
But we want a good, clear basis.
Yeah.
If that takes 1, 2, or 3 years, why not? Anyway, no longer again demonstrations in Place de Liberté.
Okay. Mr. Geopolitician, do you think that it's better to prolong the transition to show that we can settle the good basis of the foundation?
I think that it's better to realize at least 50% of this plan, no matter what the time frame. Honestly speaking, this time frame thing, I don't even want to hear about it.
Yeah.
This is a slave mentality. Excuse me, I want to today in your program, maybe it's a chance for you today, compared to our program, that Malians have not understood the nature of our problem. We are in geopolitics, big geopolitics. It's not Mali only, it's not Sahel only. Those forces who are crying, they are on mission, let's have election. You, honestly, out of the air,
can you bet on whoever now on the political arena that you know that you can put there who is not already on the French register? No. Impossible. You know what? If you want to help us, don't hurry us up that much as we cannot keep your speed. Come on, brothers. We're intelligent. They can use this, what we call the major manipulation. It's not the topic. There are 12 of them. The next time I will debate about it. This is one of them. To make, you know, how to say, create the reality, a reality, I mean the major reality. You know, like if we do not go to election, we have problem. We'll have problem with cooperation. There's never cooperation in international relation. I give you 100. I want to give to get 1,000. I can give you the chance of jury rulings in Ghana. I can give you the example for Rwanda, and that I keep repeating. The Rwanda, when this guy came, tell me Kagame, what he did first. He said to MINUSMA, as here, you go home. He got rid of these people first, so he would have time to work for his country. So we have the choice. We go to the election, and the Mali is gone forever. Let me be honest with you. No matter the argumentation you bring in, this geopolitics, this does not depend on you, that doesn't depend on Assimi Goïta. Mali is, by the way, is under mandate. The Mali has no authority all of its frontier. Let me tell you this news. You do not decide anything concerning Mali now. So let us create a condition when and where we will be listened to at least on those issues that concern us. To do this, we should show that we are not dead alive. Which is to say, nobody is going to put any time frame or whatever frame on us.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
No matter the
really, thank you again. Really, I don't totally agree with those who think that the Malian who are asking for, who are talking about the limit of the transition are all politicians. But in whatever we do, if there is a fixed time, that is a kind of timetable. That will help even those who are working to plan their actions. Okay, so this is but those who, many people who are rushing today and saying that there is a deadline, they are not all politicians. Yeah. And the question to add it to prolong or not the transition, I say, and I will repeat it again, it will depend on the way of working of the authority.
Yeah, exactly. Okay,
if we Malians notice that they are really dealing with the problem and they are able to solve the problem so that we can do a very good election. So why not? Because we all dream to see that the end of the problems in this country one day. But another point is that it is not only the question of a man or a question of a leader, but it is a question of we need to understand that Mali cannot live isolated from other part of the world.
Okay, so we have Mr. Bore, what these people who are harshly required to the organization of the election, who want to Malian organize very quickly the election, what can they get in that?
Okay, I think that we don't understand each other. They are just a claim because when the transition starts, there has been a time given. So they are just reminding the authorities that there is a time, whatever you do, you have to think about this time. But by the end of the time, we will sit again to talk, to see what has been done. Is it possible what has been done to organize a good election? Because last time through the interview of the Prime Minister, he talked about it. We must learn from our former mistakes. Yeah. He said in 1997, the same things happened. People rushed on the time and they asked to organize the election, and it has been done. The result everybody knows. In 2012, the same thing. But now this is not a reason to tell him that you have all the time. Yes, it is possible to prolong it, but don't make them believe that they have all the time.
Okay.
I don't agree with you.
Yeah.
It's just like a ratification, a question. Like saying that those who are hiring out for this election,
Yes.
they are not all politicians. They may be not all politicians, but they are obligatory being in two categories. Or they are political ill-informed, or they are bad intentions to our money. Otherwise, the example of Chad, we have close ones. How many times were them given? What the next day, Ahmad Debi said, he said, I give myself my time.
Yeah.
Have you heard anything about that?
He responded.
The news was not so spread that even people overlooked it.
Yeah, but
He didn't give is this a living out of the international community? No. When you tell we cannot live isolated, believe me, this in geopolitics, this is a theory. This to make you think that without them you cannot live. They cannot live without you, but not you without them. And by the way, the geopolitics is nowadays today in such a way that even if a country specializes in killing other people, you have partners.
Okay.
Believe me.
Just to add it,
North Korea have partners.
let me
just a point.
No, you talked too
saying
much.
that we cannot live isolated does not mean we depend totally on other. But everybody know that the world there is a globalization.
Okay, Mr.
So
Tabala.
nobody can.
Yeah, I do not agree with Mr. Jabate when he said that we should use the time as we want. This is not, I think, the right way to operate, because Shogel insisted on his speech. In his speech, on saying that leadership should be based on promise, on the fulfillment of one's promise. If they said that, because he did not deny that they would respect the deadline. He himself insisted that they would respect the deadline of the transition. This is what leadership is all about. Doing what one said, or one has said. Because if ever they try to say that, okay, because of this and that, we would like to prolong the transition, this is not what has been convened.
Yes, but is not.
And I think that it's not necessary.
Yeah, but
if ever, as Mr. Boire said, if people start to notice that things are changing, Malian people are very, simple, very understandable. If really things change in the right way, they can stay forever. We will even organize demonstration to demand that they stay there.
Politics will never start that.
Never ever.
No,
Come on.
Never agree on that.
If people start to see, people can see that the country is really changing. Justice is working properly. The Article 39, for instance, is applied, because I'm a little bit. I don't understand our politicians, because Shogel said that they should make a break from the past by changing behavior, by respecting laws and stuff. But there is a simple law, which is the Article 39, which they are not willing to apply strictly.
No, let's not
Because
say
it's
they're
impossible.
not willing to, because there is harmonization.
Let's be honest.
It is a law. A law is a law.
Come on.
We will understand each other.
Okay.
Is it a law or not? Is it a law? Yes.
No.
There is
Article 39 has been voted.
You
there
asked
is
me.
a law. But there is harmonization. There is harmonization. Why they don't accept that?
No, the harmonization is not a law.
The law that breaks the
It is
other
not
law.
a law. No, let's listen to each other.
Okay.
I think that, for a country to work, I think that this is the big difference between our countries and those countries who keep going forward. When they voted something, they respect it.
Mr. Tugula, they told me that we have is almost time. Just
but here
1 or 2 minutes left.
Even just a minute. Even all the reforms that Shogel talked about, I think that there is no need. We have plenty of laws which are not respected, which are flouted by the leaders themselves first.
Okay, unfortunately, you have
so
much time.
Okay.
Yes, now.
You see,
Yeah,
it's no use telling we are going to lengthen transition.
That's politics.
Prime Minister will never say
Never.
that. But by noticing, observing, you will see, he will always tell our partners, we will respect the delay. That's sure. But let me tell you, the politicians, why on their side, they claimed one day at the issue of a meeting, we won't accept the outpassing the delay.
Yeah.
It's the politician.
It's only power.
And they're their
Only
followers.
power.
They don't care about your country.
They don't care about the country.
And today,
come on.
who?
And I tell you, if the partners don't help them, they can do anything.
Thank you.
They have no followers.
Thank
Yes,
you,
and today
CDV. Thank
Let
you.
me tell you
Yeah,
that.
let's notice that today those who are being arrested and those who are being
They are
arrested
all afraid.
because of financial delinquencies are all politicians.
They are all
Okay,
afraid.
right. Your last word.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Elder. It's to say just when you say that a man should keep his promise, it's a promise that depends on you. The decision about your country does not depend on you.
But
So
you-
let's
yeah.
have it.
You can
Come on.
resign.
My last calling to Malian is once again forget all these distractions,
Yeah.
which you call delay, whatever. Do what is good for us, and as soon as we see that these things are good, but not politician. Even if we create El Dorado here, politicians will ask for election because they are looking for power, not for the well-being of the country.
No.
Otherwise, a reasonable person will never talk about election now in no other condition. Where? In Bamako?
Where? In Bamako?
Because out of Bamako, you have no
Mr.
security
But,
nowhere.
yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Barre, last
Thank you
word.
again. Okay, so really, I just want to tell you that when we say politician, the Prime Minister, current Prime Minister, Shokele, is one. He too a politician. And really the key issue is now we must ask our politician to stop with the former way to do things. As Mr. Togola said, really, if the country will be great if we respect the laws.
Okay, yeah, Mr.
Okay,
Yeah.
so the 13, especially the Article 39, is a law. So Mr. Shokel has to give to be an example to reinforce law.
Mr. Togola.
Okay, I would. My closing words would be the reminding of what Martin Luther King used to say. You know, all we are asking from the government is to remain true to what is said in papers. You know, that's the only thing that we are expecting from them. Let's just respect our laws.
Respect, let's respect our
is the only way out.
laws.
Yeah.
Let's respect our laws, let's respect our delay, but
Yeah.
no matter the delay is, the most important is to zero the basis of the country is in this contrast way. We're going to put an end to this program. Our guests were Mr. Alubare, teacher, Drissa CDV, teacher also, Mr. Togola Abdullah, air traffic controller, and the geopolitician, Mr. Adama Jabate. We've been discussing about the plan, government plan action. Usman Sagara, the other side, Sira, and other people. We've been very happy to be with you, and we hope together next time at the same time on the same channel. See you next time.
Weekly news,
Education, politics.
economics, culture. Weekly news, a round wrap of national news of the week on RENOUVEAU TV every Saturday.
Weekly news, the news to English speakers.